Hello guys, this is Schlimm and I'm going to be a special guest coach for Cohen's Academy on Sunday. I feel really grateful about being a part of all this. I think it's really cool, and I want to thank Cohen for considering me, and I also want to thank all the students that have signed up so far. So I just wanted to give a disclaimer about what I can offer, because I do think I differ a little bit from the other coaches in some pretty significant sense. So let's set the expectations for what I will offer correctly. I have to reel back a little bit and talk about my, Smash career, if you want to call it that. So on face value, it's sort of misleading, and people, are routinely surprised when I tell them I had, for example, no idea that there are only 4 options when someone is in knockdown, right? Like in the game. And, I would always state that I genuinely believe the number of how many options you have when you're knocked down is either too nebulous to even fathom or state, or it's at least 27, 21 options, something ridiculous like that. And I would name, every combination of actions you could do, you could stay on the ground and wait. You can, then roll to the right. You could immediately roll to the left. You could tech and shield. And so you have to know that there's something extremely backwards and wrong about this way of thinking about the game. And it needlessly complicates the game. It also demonstrates a failure to acknowledge that being in knockdown is inherently a limitation, and it's not an entirely new universe of possibilities that you have to overcomplicate for. So not understanding this led me to never actually taking on the true advantage of getting someone knocked down in the game. So without getting into detail too much, I basically play with this lack of understanding the game for most of my career. Even when people considered me a so-called top player, which I never really, accepted, even if my ego might have, conveyed that I did, which, I'm definitely guilty of. So for what I lacked in neutral game understanding, I made up with punish game optimization. And I did that without knowing how to tech chase, like I said, because I didn't know the 4 options thing. So, thanks to Mario's grab, he can go quite far without being actually, good at understanding how tech chasing works. I also focused my attention and study towards mindset. So I do consider myself a kind of expert on the competitive mindset, although I might be a bit rusty since I haven't competed in a while, in a serious way. But this is an area generally that I feel comfortable coaching for. What is competition? What mindset is conducive to winning? What mindset is healthy to continue growing, what mindset isn't, etc., etc. So, back to my background, and if you fast forward 10 years, I pick up Falcon in 2018. And I do this in order to correct for my deep lack of basic fundamentals. And I do this after a decade of competing with Mario Doc. So there's a lot that you had to correct for. For a lot of people, it was really hard to understand, especially since my Dr. Mario was pretty optimal in some regards and also getting results in. But my doc was, in fact, not a real doctor. He acquired a fake PhD and people fell for it. Not all did, I should add. Anyway, after picking up Falcon, many of my Smash peers and friends that knew me for all these years, they were really surprised as to how deep my lack of understanding the game really was. But I was lucky enough to have a friend that really acted as a full-fledged coach for me. And after months and months of sometimes brutally honest, intense coaching sessions, I started to correct for how I played. And amazingly, I actually started to see the game, at least in principle, on a fighting game fundamental basis, as other top players do, I can very confidently state. So what I can offer is helping those of you who want to get a real basic fundamental grasp of the game, especially those that have played for a very long time and think that they have done so in a blind, sort of automated manner, as have I for 10 years with the plumber. So, too long didn't read, too long didn't listen. If the other coaches are fully fledged language teachers, let's say, and I don't doubt that they are, then I am a rookie speech therapist who also worked as a language teacher, but only on the black and sometimes fraudulent market. And I also, that language teacher also learned a couple of mindset tips on the way there. So I'm looking forward to working with you guys, and yeah, I hope to see you guys there.